Takulandirani ku AMTV Malawi kuchimake kwa nkhani zenizeni. Ngati nkhani imeneyo kuno kulibe, dziwani kuti nkhani imeneyo ndi yabodza.
I would like to welcome you to Parliament. You've been asked to come to Parliament to specifically be part of a key stakeholder on what we're doing. This is basically an inquiry into the acquisition of Amaryllis Hotel by the Public Service Pension Trust Fund. So you're most welcome. Feel free that you are in this room. Be assured that we've already had a word of prayer and the involvement is as it is. So since you've just walked in, I have the felt belief that you are not aware of or you don't know all these members, but we'll give you a chance that you can get to know them through self-introductions. So start from my far right. That's Machinga Central. Come this way up until we finish.
Thank you, Chair.
Machinga.
My name is Samuel Bogos, Member of Parliament for Machinga Central.
Chair, my name is Aline Mambala, Member of Parliament for Balaka Mulunguzi.
And through you, Chair, my name is Noel Lipipa, Member of Parliament for Blantyre, Chiromoni, Kabula, and Choli constituency. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Fisiani Nyondo. I'm representing the people of Chitipa Center. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Young Peel, Lilongwe East. Thank you.
Through you, Chair, good morning. My name is Buga Matemvu, representing the people of Mulanje South East.
Through you, Chair, my name is Geoffrey Onsewa, Member of Parliament for Chikwawa North. Thank you, Chair.
Through you, Chair, my name is Winston Kamabanjira, Member of Parliament for Lilongwe Chiwamba constituency. Thank you, Chair.
Through you, Chair, I'm George Katunga Million, Member of Parliament, Palombe, Machemba. Thank you, Chair.
And my name is Best Ben Awali, Member of Parliament for Zomba City North. Thank you.
Chair, good morning. My name is Gerard Tasaukadala, representing the people of Blantyre Central constituency. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. I am Mmene Anagulira, representing Zomba Sondoli. Thank you.
Good morning, through you, Chair. My name is Susan Dorsey, Member of Parliament for Chikwawa West. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Vua Kaunda, MP for Ngatabe Central. Thank you, sir.
Through Honorable Chairperson, my name is Frederick Amani, Parliament Secretariat.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Tile Likuma, Parliament Secretariat. Thank you.
Through Honorable Chairperson, I'm Nelly Kada, Parliament Secretariat.
Through you, Chair, I'm Tulinje Muluzi, Member of Parliament for Machinga Likwenu, and my Vice Chair for this committee. Thank you. For the sake of this deliberation, I'll call you the controlling officer. So my name is Stephen Baba Malondera Kansiamu, MP for Lilongwe Nyanja constituency and Chairperson of Public Accounts Committee. Allow me at this time to ask you, controlling officer, to introduce yourself and the team that has accompanied you. We'll have to hear them as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and Honorable members. My name is Noel Mkolichi. I'm the Managing Director, FDH Bank PLC, and also leading this team that is in front of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. I'm George Chitela, Deputy Managing Director, FDH Bank.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. My name is Juliano Kanyongolo. I'm the Company Secretary.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. My name is Esnat Suleiman. I am the Head of Treasury and Investment Banking, FDH Bank. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those introductions. I'd like to once again ask you to feel free. This is just an interaction because when you're looking at FDH, you're looking at one of the institutions which were involved in the valuation of Amaryllis Hotel. To that effect, feel free. It's just us trying to get into details. But before we get into substantial discussion, I'd like you, the controlling officer, and anyone who has accompanied you and you feel that is going to speak to this committee this morning, to take an oath. Because whatever we're going to discuss here, it is a serious matter, and the nation is looking forward to getting to real details, especially the pensioners. To that effect, allow me to ask Secretariat to administer an oath. Secretariat, please.
Honorable Chair and honorable members, I, Noel Loudon Nkolichi, and do solemnly swear by the Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Honorable Chair, I, George Stella, do solemnly swear by the mighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Honorable Chair and honorable members, I, Giuliano Godfrey Kanyongolo, do solemnly swear by the Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Honorable Chair, I, Esnat Suleiman, do solemnly swear by the Almighty God that the evidence I shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you so much, Secretariat, for administering the oath. Controlling Officer, welcome once again to Parliament. This is Public Accounts Committee, and since you've taken your oath of office, our oath of this deliberation, I would like to ask you to give us a proper presentation that you've prepared. But before you do that, I would like to give you comfort that this committee has powers. And the powers of this committee is in pursuant to Standing Order 151. So Public Accounts Committee, like any other committees of the House, has several powers. One of which you're looking at to summon or subpoena any person to attend and give evidence before a committee at a stated time and place, like what you did, because you were given letters and you responded and you even submitted your documentary evidence. That's in line with the powers of the committee. And also to require any person to disclose and produce to the committee any papers and records in that person's control, because you are valuers and you have control of some of the papers that will be submitted to this committee in order for us to make a determination. And anything that is in your possession and custody relevant to the committee's proceedings. So with those sentiments, allow me to give you time to give us your presentation. After that, members shall be free to ask questions, and they will not be limited in terms of the questions that we're going to give. Thank you so much. Over to you, Controlling Officer.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, honorable members. FDH Bank do appreciate the invitation to appear before this committee, and we do recognize the important oversight mandate that is entrusted to you. We therefore approach today's engagement with the utmost respect for that responsibility. We bring with us a presentation prepared to address the matters raised by the committee, but allow me to be clear. Our primary purpose today is to explain FDH Bank's role in the Public Service Pension Trust Fund's acquisition of Amaryllis Hotel. FDH Bank's involvement in the matter was strictly advisory. We were engaged to provide professional financial analysis, valuation perspectives, and risk observations based on the information made available to us. At no point did FDH Bank participate in negotiating the transaction, determining the final purchase price, or making any investment decision on behalf of the trustees. We thus welcome the opportunity to outline the scope of our mandate, the professional standards that guided our work, and the considerations we communicated to the trustees to support their independent decision-making process. With your permission, Honorable Chair, allow me to invite Mrs. Esnat Suleiman, our Head of Treasury and Investment Banking, to take the committee through the detailed presentation prepared for your consideration. I submit, Honorable Chair.
Thank you so much. She may proceed. And honorable members, I will address the questions that were passed on through to us through a letter that was written. The first question that was advanced to us was to request us to provide the scope and the terms of reference for the valuation engagement. Our scope of work was captured in the engagement letter that was signed between ourselves and Nico Asset Managers acting as advisors for Public Service Pension Trust Fund. The document indicates that the scope of our work included conducting a valuation of the Amaryllis Hotel Limited. And in order for us to accomplish the task that was assigned to us, we were required to do a financial assessment of the business, the marketing positioning, but also to review the potential risks and the growth prospects of the business. So our primary responsibility was to prepare a valuation report which would be used to make further decisions by the fund. I shall proceed to the second question. The second question advanced to us was for us to indicate the valuation methodologies that we used, any financial assumptions and risk assessments that we applied.
In terms of valuation methods, we applied the two most common valuation methods used for hospitality industry companies. The first one being the discounted cash flow method, and the second one being the market multiples approach. The discounted cash flow method basically derives the value of a business based on the expected cash flows or performance of the business going forward. In this particular incident, we used the free cash flow method. So there are several that can be used as discounted cash flow. You can do one based on dividend cash flows. You can do one based on free cash flows to equity. And then you can do one based on free cash flows to the firm. We used free cash flows to the firm on the basis that the company that was to be acquired was to be debt-free. We were told that the existing debt that was in the business would be hived out of the business. And secondly, we also used the free cash flow to the firm because Public Service Pension Trust Fund was to acquire 100% of the business, giving them total control of the business. The market multiples approach values a business based on comparable businesses. So in this case, we looked at other businesses operating in a similar industry. We looked at within the region, and then we also looked within Malawi to come up with an appropriate market multiple, which was to be applied on Amaryllis to determine the appropriate value. Now, just to also indicate that the valuation that we conducted was as at June 2023. So the financials that were used to derive the particular valuation were the financials of the company as at June 2023. In order for us to use the discounted cash flow method, there are various assumptions that we need to make. And amongst this assumption, the key one being the cost of equity, which is the variable that we use to discount those future cash flows to the present date. We also are required to determine the growth rate of the business in the long term. Now, in deriving the cost of equity, we derived it using the capital asset pricing model, in which we benchmarked using the US 10-year bond. We applied the country risk premium, the country risk-free rate, and the equity risk premium. These are publicly available information on a website called Damodaran. Damodaran is a reputable and widely used professional within the valuation industry. Now, having derived that, we then adjusted it for Malawi by unlevering the beta. So in this case, the beta represents how the business responds to market movements. So we use the Amaryllis beta, which is unlevered, meaning that without debt, because we were told that the business would be acquired without debt. We also adjusted for the difference in inflation in the US and the inflation in Malawi to take into account our Malawian circumstances. It is a standard practice when you're conducting valuations and you're benchmarking against another country. So what that process did was we ended up with a discount factor of 32.83%. However, we're mindful that at the time of the valuation, the inflation rates were quite high and the economy had just been recovering from COVID times. So as such, we also derived a long-term cost of equity, which now considered the projected economic conditions. And at that time, we used an average inflation for the previous 20 years to give us an idea of where Malawi's inflation normally is, and that was 13.82%. When we applied that, we ended up with a long-term discount factor of 17.15%. With regards to the numbers themselves, we were provided with projections for the period up to 2028. We made some adjustments to those projections, taking into consideration our perception of the market and the economy itself. And from that perspective, we used those cash flows to now derive a present value of the business. For the long term, considering that our projections were only going up to 2028, which is quite standard because it is difficult to project to eternity with certainty, we then apply a long-term growth rate. We used a growth rate of 10%, which we found to be reasonable because when we looked at the growth of the tourism industry for the period 2000 to 2019, the growth was only 6.31%. So considering that Amaryllis was still in its early stages, it had not yet started performing to the levels of a mature company, we projected its growth to be higher than the average growth of the industry. And then we also further applied a marketability discount. This is because Amaryllis is not a listed company, meaning that once an investor goes into the business, there are certain advantages and disadvantages that come with it. But on the disadvantage side is the fact that you now own it 100%. If you need to liquidate, it will be a process as opposed to simply going on a stock market where you can easily sell. And again, this is standard practice when you conduct valuations. So we ended up with a value of 25.62 billion using the discounted cash flow valuation. In conducting valuation using the market multiples approach, we use the enterprise value to EBITDA method. Where enterprise value, we look at the total value of the business, both equity and debt. And this was considered to be acceptable because this business was to be acquired without debt. And this method ensures that the value that you derive is not in any way affected by the capital structure of the business. EBITDA is the earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization. And again, this is a value on the income statement that is not affected by the capital structure of the business. Now, the reason we use this specifically is because the comparables, in this case, when we look at the local market, we looked at Sunbird and Blantyre hotels. Both of these companies have different capital structures. So if we had used anything else, the valuation would have been affected by the capital structures of those businesses. So in using the EBITDA, we took out the influence that was coming as a result of the capital structure of the reference companies. Now, when we looked at historically, the two companies had a multiple of 21.6, and we applied a premium when valuing Amaryllis because Amaryllis is considered to be a 5-star hotel, whilst at the time of valuation, both Sunbird and Blantyre hotels were not 5-star hotels. When we applied that multiple, the premium of 5% of the multiple, it gave us a new multiple of 22.68, which we then applied to the earnings before interest, tax, and depreciation for Amaryllis, and that gave us a value of 38.3 billion. We applied a marketability discount because, as you may be aware, both Sunbird and Blantyre hotels are listed on the stock exchange, and as such, we needed to consider the fact that Amaryllis is not listed. And that gave us an end value of 34.47 billion. As is normal practice, we compared the values that we received to the net asset value of the business, where the net asset value of the business simply shows the value of the business in an event of a liquidation. And we made some adjustments for the properties because there had been evaluation of the property post the publication of the results that we had. So after making those adjustments, we noted the net asset value of 50 billion. As was requested, I'll also highlight some of the other factors that we considered, especially these had input as we're looking at the projections that were made for the purposes of the valuation. We did consider the strengths of the business, which I'm sure is highlighted in the document that you have received. Maybe in the interest of time, if I may be permitted, maybe I may not go into the detail because there are quite a lot. But we looked at the strengths of the business, we looked at the weaknesses that were there, we looked at the opportunities in the market, as well as the threats that we had perceived in the market as well. Then in analyzing the risks for the hospitality sector in general, we further made a commentary as to how we felt those risks would apply to Amaryllis Hotel. So I may go in general only on the areas that were considered high risk, being the issue of natural disasters and pandemics. We noticed that this was something that affected the hospitality sector quite significantly, and Amaryllis as well was quite prone to this. Then there's the issue of the economic risk. So we looked at issues of inflation, depreciation, and the like. We noticed that for the part of Amaryllis, because of the stage at which it was in, it was keeping very low stock of products, and as such, it was very permissible to shocks that would arise from the economy, and as such, we indicated it to be high risk. But in addition to that, we also noted that it had high debt in its books, and therefore would also be affected by any interest rate increases. We found credit risk to be moderate and growing competition in the market to also be moderate, whilst we found the regulatory risk to be quite low. So those were our considerations. In terms of our findings and the recommendations that we made, so here I would like to highlight or repeat what was indicated by Mr. Noah Nkulichi, to say that the scope of our engagement was to provide a value of the business. And as such, you will notice that our key findings and recommendations are limited to the matter of value. So we indicated that the acceptable range was between 26 billion and 35 billion, and that the point estimate, which would be the average of the approaches, was 30 billion. We noted that this was at a discount of 40.1% to the net asset value of the business. When we looked at this value, we felt it was very reasonable, considering that at that point, Sunbird was at a value of 60 billion, and Blantyre Hotels was at a value of 13.6 billion. This valuation report was presented to Nico Asset Managers, who were engaged on behalf of Public Service Pension Trust Fund. So we did not have any direct engagement with public service with regards to this valuation. The next question we were asked is whether there were any reservations, risks, warnings, or conditional advice that we may have provided. You will note from the valuation report that we did indicate that in our perspective, the business did not appear to be very profitable at that point relative to the property investment that was made. And this is a sentiment that we gave when we considered the fact that the valuation of the business resulted in a value that was below the net asset value of the business. We considered that the return on equity was only 1.19% and was projected to average only 4% in the period 2024 to 2028. The final question we received was a confirmation on whether the final transaction price and structure was consistent with our professional advice. So again, our valuation was as at 30 June 2023, which is about 2 years from the time at which this transaction has taken place. I think that's the first thing that we may wish to note. The second thing is to say that normally when you do valuations, there's always a statement that we make to say that the final price will be determined between the buyer and the seller through negotiation. And this is on the basis that during a transaction like this, the seller will normally engage a valuer and the buyer will also engage a valuer. And sometimes the resulting values may differ. And therefore the two parties must consider their own personal circumstances and the reasons for entering the transaction, and must therefore decide on a reasonable price to execute the transaction. So at this point, we are not able to provide an opinion on the final transaction price because we have not been made aware of the current situation in the business itself, and we were not privy to the negotiations that were undertaken between the buyer and the seller. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Controlling Officer, through one of your colleagues for the presentation that you've given to this committee pertaining to the valuation method which were used in order to arrive at the price as of 2023. You've also talked of discounted rates which were applied, and at the same time, you're looking at benchmarking, you're looking at the pricing locally and in our neighboring countries. We'd like to open up to honor members so that honor members can probe more into this and request for clarifications, so that the members, when they're arriving at a final position, they will do so based on the facts which have been presented. But thank you so much for the elaborate presentation. And would like to appreciate your honoring of the invitation, so that the nation gets to know what actually transpired behind doors. But maybe before we proceed, Controlling Officer, allow me to recognize the presence of the second Deputy Speaker, Right Honorable. We appreciate your coming. We normally, by tradition, sit in this committee on your behalf. Now, coming in this room, it actually shows the importance that this Parliament has placed on this inquiry. Thank you so much, Second Deputy Speaker. Honourable members, I would like to open up so that we can give questions to the Controlling Officer and the team which has accompanied him. Honourable members, I see Palombe Machemba. Palombe Machemba, you can take to the floor. I also see Blantyre Chiromoni, in that order, please.
Thank you so much, Chair, for the opportunity accorded to the people of Palombe Machemba to ask a question. Chair, allow me first to appreciate the wonderful presentation by Madam Suleiman from FDH Bank. In their presentation, Chair, FDH, through Madam Suleiman, they have indicated that their role in the sale of Amaryllis Hotel was advisory. In fact, they did conduct the evaluation exercise. But Chair, through you, I would like FDH to tell this committee how they were selected to be the valuers. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much, Palombe Machemba. Blantyre Chiromoni.
Yes, Chair, I understand that the evaluation was as of 30th June 2023, but should we use the same valuation method to do the evaluation as of 31st December or 1st January 31st December 2025 or 1st January 2026? What would be the value of Amaryllis using the very same methodology?
Controlling Officer, over to you to take those two questions, one from Palombe Machemba, the second one from Blantyre Chiromoni. Over to you, Controlling Officer.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. The first question from Palombe Machemba, how we were selected as the valuers. I think because of our own advocates that we do advisory services, that's how the trust, the board of the trustees of the public services pension trust fund actually approached us. Basically, I think it was to do with that. And on the question,
Controlling Officer, there are times when members would want to come in with a supplementary question.
Thank you.
So Don't be at peace. I'll curtail the discussion so that member can come in and you keep on taking the relevant questions which will be coming. You're very free at any point to indicate that you're not taking any question, and that is within your rights at Parliament. But we'll appreciate if you take all the questions that will come. Palombe Majemba, supplementary.
Thank you, Chair.
Maybe before you come in, Palombe Majemba, controlling officer.
Yes, Honorable Chair. I thought I needed to also bring in my colleagues just to elaborate on the first question from Palombe Majemba.
That is in order because they've also taken an oath, so it is just okay. Before we get to your colleague who was making the presentation, I would want Palombe Majemba to come in.
Thank you, Chair, for giving me the chance to ask a supplementary question. This supplementary question is coming in due to the response from FDH Bank. Are you telling this committee that you were handpicked? Thank you, Chair.
There's another supplementary from Chikwawa West. Chikwawa West?
Thank you very much, Chair. I think it's also on the response from the controlling officer. I think during the presentation, it was mentioned that the proposal that we should do the evaluation came from NICO asset managers. But now the controlling officer says the Public Service Pension Trust Fund are the ones who approached FDH Bank to do the evaluation, looking at the adverts that they normally place maybe in the newspapers and what other medias. I just wanted clarification on that because it's like we are getting two different contradictory statements on that one. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you for this supplementary from Palombe Majemba and the Chikwawa West controlling officer. You may wish to reconcile the two because the presenter gave us a different position and you just gave us a different position. Can you come out clear, controlling officer?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Yes, in the sense that NICO asset managers are supposed to be the fund managers of the fund, and therefore the issue is that it went through NICO asset managers to FDH Bank. But let me ask my colleagues to respond positively on that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. As indicated by Noel, the engagement partner was NICO asset managers who engaged different valuers. Let me just mention is that they are approved and authorized valuers in the market, approved by the Register of Companies as well as the Malawi Stock Exchange. The nature of valuation is slightly different from the other kind of valuation, especially when it comes to companies. So we were asked by NICO asset managers to submit a quotation if you are to value Amaryllis Hotel. And through that submission, we are shortlisted to do the evaluation. Thank you, Chair.
I see Zomba.
Chair, supplementary.
Supplementary Zomba.
Thank you, Chair. And through you, it's a yes or no question, since we have got two conflicting statements. Did you at any point in time have an engagement with the Public Service Pension Fund, Trust Fund Board or its secretariat?
Chair, no.
Controlling officer?
Chair, no. But Chair, also want to check with the Honorable Member of Parliament to just align in terms of the conflicting statements, maybe for clarification. Which statements are these, Chair?
Earlier on, the controller, the manager, mentioned that they had an engagement with the Public Service Pension Trust Fund Board. They were engaged by Public Trust. And then later on, you are dispelling those sentiments. So I just wanted to have clarity on that.
Yeah, this is the one, Chair, we clarified that the engagement was through NICO asset managers. so no engagement with the pension fund trustees. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Maybe let me put something very clear. I know there are two, like Juliana and Esther, were together at college some time back, but I'm sitting in as the chair of this. So I would like to put it on record that whenever you want to respond, address the chair, and at the same time, wait up until I recognize you. When you're done responding, kindly switch off the mic. I will appreciate, and in that way, we're going to proceed in a procedural manner. Controlling officer.
Yes, Chair, I would request that my colleague, George Stella, respond to the supplementary questions that have been raised by the Member of Parliament. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Can we proceed that way? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. We take that the second question is from Honorable MP Dipipa, asking us if the same valuation methods were used, what would be the value as that on December 2025. Chair, the response to this second question is, it's difficult to tell because we haven't had any information pertaining to as far as that on December 2025. Would assume that a lot of factors have changed over the period from the last evaluation we did in June 2023 to December 2025. So cannot conclusively say this will be the value of the bank as of the 1 December 2025, because we haven't had any information pertaining to the 1 December 2025. Thank you, Chair.
Planta Site Chilomoni, I see a hand.
Yes, since this was
all the way to the north, Chitipa Central. Nkarabe Central, please.
Thank you, Chair. We are discussing the sale of Amis Hotel, but Honorable Chair, let me confirm, most of us, the members here, some are from Chitipa, from Nkatabe, we haven't seen. Would it be in their interest to confirm the transaction at the site? The first question. The second question is, we have heard figures like 30 billion as a value 2023. But what we're hearing is that the money that was paid to the seller is 90 billion. Can the CEO confirm that? That the valuation was 30, but what was paid was 90 billion. Thank you, Chair.
Maybe before we go to Chitipa Central, in terms of the transactions, that I think Public Service Pension Trust Fund can actually confirm when they appear. And because we had a willing seller and a willing buyer, at that stage, we'll get to ascertain what you've asked for. But FDH is here appearing as one of the valuers. To that extent, Nkatabe Central, maybe they can take part of that because of those who paid and those who received the payment. They may, at that stage, give us a clear picture. But they can take that one. Chitipa Central.
Thank you, Chair. My understanding, Chair, is that FDH did not do the second evaluation. My question is, were they given any reason why they were not considered to do the second evaluation? The background of the question that their advice was that the business was not profitable. So I'm wondering if in their opinion, that would be one of the reasons why they were not considered to do the second evaluation, which necessitated the payment of Amis Hotel. Thank you, Chair.
Controlling officer, over to you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I noticed that there are 3 questions, one from Blanda Chilomoni. I don't know whether I should still respond to that, given your ruling.
No, if you feel you need to clarify a few things,
thank you.
You have the latitude to do so. Thank you so much, Controlling
Thank you
Officer.
very much, Honorable Chair. I think the question from Blanda Chilomoni, MP, is whether if it was FDH would be able to buy the facility at the current price. My response is that That really depends, because first of all, there's need to do evaluation, due diligence by FDH Bank to indeed agree that, the current valuation of Amaryllis is what has been, highlighted. Otherwise, it's not something that can just be taken face value and do the payment. That's my response to that. Only the issue that has been raised by Nkatabe Central Honorable Member, he has asserted that the facility was paid for 90 billion, and yet our valuation was only 30 billion. I must mention, just as we have said before, our position in all this transaction was just advisory. We just did the evaluation and provided it to the trustees. The decision to decide which one is more valuable, it is left to them. And as my colleague had indicated, it's not just us as valuers that were involved. There are several other valuers that were involved. So the decision to decide which valuer to use actually remains the domain of the trustees of the fund. Lastly, on Chitipa Central, why FDH Bank was never given the opportunity to do the second valuation. Obviously, I think that decision is up to the trustees of the fund to decide who they would use for the second valuation. Otherwise, from us, we did our part, and if they felt that it wasn't making any meaningful position, possibly that's the reason why they actually excluded us. But the decision to decide who does the second valuation, obviously, it rests with the Board of Trustees of the fund. Allow me, through Honorable Chair, to check with my friends if they may wish to add one or two points on the issues raised. Thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you so much, Controlling Officer. You may proceed. Before we hand over to FDH Supplementary Chitipa Central.
Thank you, Chair. It's just for the record. The question was, were they given any reason? If they were given any reason, then they simply indicate if they were given any reason or not, just for the record, Chair.
Thank you so much. As they respond, Controlling Officer, you may take even that where you're given a reason by Public Service Pension Trust Fund. Over to you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. As soon as we submitted our first bid, I think that was the end of the correspondence between us and the managers of the fund, and therefore no reasons were actually given. Thank you. And as promised, maybe I needed to bring in my colleagues with your indulgence, Chair.
Yeah, please, kindly proceed.
All right, thank you, Chair. To just add to Noel's comments that indeed our assignment ended when we submitted the initial report, and the fund managers did not engage us further, even for the second valuation or third valuation. So our mandate ended when we submitted the first valuation report. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Controlling Officer. Honour members, I see Mulanje Southeast. Mulanje Southeast, your time.
No, thanks very much, Chair. I just had two questions. I wanted to find out from FDH if you brought with you the documents pertaining to the invitation for you to do the evaluation. That's the first one. And if you have those documents, would you please share those documents with the Honorable Committee? The second one, throughout the presentation, I have not seen where you specifically pointing out that the value of Amaryllis was pegged at 47 billion. I have seen that you have presented that the net asset value was 50 billion and the business value was 30 billion. And I'm having problems to reconcile where the 47 billion came from, because I was thinking that in your presentation you would have specifically tackled where the 47.8 billion is coming from, and I was expecting that to have been dealt with in the presentation. Secondly, I wanted to find out from FDH, you are in the market valuing businesses. Were you at any point aware that the very same business that you had sat and valued at 30 billion was also valued at a much higher figure of about 128 billion? Assuming these valuations were done at the very same time, would you be surprised, or was there any information gap that you would have taken into consideration or you would have missed when you're doing the evaluation? Were you surprised, or it was okay by yourself? If you were surprised, what type of information or risks do you think might have been considered by those other colleagues that came up with this particular value of 128 billion? Thank you, Chairperson.
Thank you, Mulanje Southeast. I see Blanta Chilomoni.
Yes, Chair. It's unfortunate that we just received the documents, but I'm looking at the letter, the engagement letter from FDH, the letter dated on 12th July 2023, where some of the issues have just been raised, that the responding to pension funds through their fund managers, Nico Asset. So I think, but when we go to the fee and payment, you said you wanted to give, is this the amount of money that you billed them, 8,155,000 for the valuation? And you have also said that the delivery and timing for the report is 3 weeks. Is it correct? And if so, when I asked the question about the time and valuation earlier, you said it takes longer. 3 weeks for me, I don't think it's a lot of time. Secondly, if the fee is 8.1 million, you as FDH Bank have been kind enough to do social responsibility of over $1.5 billion. I don't think that in the interest of public, you really wouldn't come up with a valuation for 31st December 2025. I submit, Chair.
Controlling Officer, I hand over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Chair, again, I will ask my colleagues to join in, but maybe just to start, I will start first of all with the question posed by Blanta Chilomoni. He's looking at the letter of July 2023, and he is asking, well, the point I want to put forward, Honorable Chair, is that the 3 weeks we are talking about is when you have all the necessary information, and it is actually captured in that letter as well, to say if you have all the necessary information, we should be able to provide the professional advice, the professional evaluation within that 3 weeks. So it is on that basis that we are saying, in this particular case, already I think there was mentioned that we still need some information for Amaryllis, but given the situation, current situation, I'm not sure whether they would be willing, but if it need be, we should be able to proceed on that basis so that we can ask them to give us that information, and then we should be able to come up with a new valuation. Going to Mulanje Southeast, I believe my colleagues are going to respond on whether we brought with us documents pertaining to the invitation, but I'm sure in the package that was submitted, that should have been included. If not, we should be able to provide. Then there was a question of not, throughout the presentation, not being able to hear anything closer to the 47 billion that possibly is in the media, is in the news. As earlier indicated by my colleagues, there were a lot of valuers that were invited to provide the evaluation. So I believe that 47 million is in relation to a different valuer, and we have no privilege to know how they came about with that figure of 47 billion. The other question was to do with the valuing business and whether we are aware that this value was much higher. I think the same issue that it depends the valuation method that was used. It depends the kind of information that they had to factor in for them to arrive at the 47 billion. Again, as it has constantly been mentioned, at the end of the day, once we've given these reports, the onus is on the buyer and the seller. They have to negotiate because obviously the seller had his own valuers that did that. And in the process, I'm sure when they put the things together at the negotiating table, that's why possibly they came up with the 47 billion that is being refunded. But with your indulgence, Honorable Chair, let me ask my colleagues if they have got any additions to make.
Before we submit to your request, allow me to recognize Mulanje Southeast. I think it's supplementary. Mulanje Southeast.
Supplementary, Chairperson.
Please proceed, Mulanje Southeast.
Chairperson, I would like it to be put on record that the valuation that came from FDH puts the value of Amaryllis at 30 billion. And I want that to be taken note of. Thank you, Chair.
Basing on the submissions that you've given to this committee, controlling officer, you are under oath. Can you confirm that according to FDH, valuation was at 30 billion? Controlling officer.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I can confirm that it was at 30. If you remember during the presentation, there were two values, one at 35, the other one at 25. And out of the average of the two, that's why we came up to a 30 billion valuation. Thank you.
So the issue about 47 billion is neither here nor there in as far as FDH is concerned.
Agreed.
Yes or no?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you so much. Honour members, maybe before we proceed, can they take as per the request, then I'll come with supplementary. Maybe your colleagues can supplement your response. Over to you.
Thank you, Chair. Probably the one to add is on the request to do with the invitation or the communication from NICO asset managers inviting us to do the assignment. Chair, just in front, behind you on the screen, we have beamed that letter from NICO asset managers inviting us to do the evaluation following our submission on the requested condition to do the evaluation. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you so much. At this stage, allow me to suspend the discussion for a half break because members have been sitting here from somewhere around 8:30. So we'll also give you time so that you can refresh your brain so that the country can get the best out of you. So we'll break for just 15 minutes just to freshen up and whatnot, 15 minutes. Thank you so much, honour members. I would like to invite you to tea outside, paid for by Parliament. Thank you.
Osaiwala kupanga subscribe ku channel ya AMTV Malawi.